how generally the shipping industry is doing in India, and is being here 3 days. Is there any effort? The first question, yes. The sense of revival was the third one, I think. But I would say the mood now in the industry is low, no doubt about it, and it has been for a few years now. Maybe I can cover the answer to the third question now.
Okay.
Is that I think personally I believe, and I think most people in our industry will tend to believe that the bottom out is there already, and so there is only one way which can possibly be upward movement. And why I say this, because in the shipping industry we cannot just isolatedly talk about India only. It's not a country-specific business. It's a international business, and the growth in trade which will happen between different countries and movement of cargo one place to another will drive the overall economy of the world, and in turn it will impact the shipping industry.
Right.
So if we see globally, there are several pockets in the world which have actually done good business in 2013. If we compare just the numbers also 2012 and 13, there are clear signs that there are new ship owners or the old ship owners who are willing to invest more money. Banks are willing to put in money into new investment, so there is financing available and ordering of ships have taken place. Maybe not all type of ships, maybe certain type of ships.
Right.
So, we do see clear signs in freight rate being going up also in the Cape-size bulk carriers, larger bulk carriers now. And in certain areas in the world, deeper exploration of oil and things like that is leading to more advanced and sophisticated offshore vessels being built.
Right.
So we do see a lot of movement happening in Korea and in Singapore and also in Brazil. A lot of investment has gone about. Eventually, I would say that India will not be lagging too behind. Hopefully, we will also see a revival in coming years to come.
Okay. Now, what about technology? What about the situation for technology? Wartsila being a leader.
On the first point, I would like to add he based us upon the shipbuilding scenario, capacity scenario. If you look at the operation aspect, basically the existing capacity which is there in the market, certainly there is an issue with respect to the earning versus the OPEX element. And naturally, whatever the acquisition program has been implemented by respective companies, larger portion of the earning is going into serving the loan of the banks. So naturally, it has got its own cascading impact on the operational, I would say, expenses, and thereby the quality of the job, or let's say the postponement of the certain requirement as such. And that is where it is impacting the industry as well. So it is not only about the shipyard and shipbuilding industry which is getting impacted, but certainly a ship repair industry as well is going through, I would say, certain amount of turmoil. Having said that, there is an opportunity, possibility in every scenario. And while the ship owners are looking at strategizing to reduce their cost or lifetime, I would say, life cycle cost, it is the responsibility of the OEMs basically to come out with kind of services or products which would help ship owners to save a certain element of cost and thereby remain profitable and afloat, at least for the time being, so that they see future.
Right. So how does technology, I want this question to be addressed, you being a leader, I think it's addressed to both of you, Sinha Sahab and Sachinji. Okay, how does Wartsila now look at new technology and its technology making a huge difference to the businesses, especially in this marine segment, Okay.
I'll take you through a few years back now from here, and to answer this question is when industry was talking about in 2009 and 8 what is going to be after 2011 and where the world would be to take care of the environment. And IMO was talking about tier 2 emission norms to be implemented after 1st January 2011. It was a big question mark in everyone in the industry, and also with the engine manufacturer, how we are going to cater to this demand. And then if we look at the portfolio which was there in those days and compare it to the portfolio that is today, we will find it is completely different, at least in the two-stroke business. All the engines which used to be there in those days are more or less do not exist in the portfolio today. The only reason was we had to be ahead of time and design the portfolio and the engines in such a way that you should be able to meet the tier 2 requirements.
Right.
So many engines had to be removed from the production portfolio, and the new engines had to be developed. Now we have already reached to that stage that every manufacturer is meeting the tier 2 requirements today. And now there is a talk about tier 3 requirement coming in 2016 or maybe 18, whenever it happens, together with something we spoke about the carbon footprints, or at least let's say NOx or SOx emissions. How are we going to meet that is a challenge. And different people are working doing the research and development and so on to meet those requirements which are very stringent requirements. In some cases, probably just with the engine changes in design, one can achieve those results. But in most cases, external means will be required.
Like DSOX will be coming into play in the case of
so those kinds of additional things which is also a lot of investment in the initial stages, a lot of capital expenses, also space which is required on the ship, which is there.
Is going to be
and
taken
also it
care.
has a running cost. There will be also operating costs which will be adding on. Plus with this also the efficiencies of the engines also got impacted.
Correct.
So the specific fuel oil consumption of
Will
each
increase
engine
a little
actually
bit,
increased when tier 2 was there, and with tier 3 probably it will still. So there has to be a balance between if efficiency is increasing, reducing, and your fuel consumption is increasing to meet the environment is also a difficult task for the ship owners. So from our perspective, we see that the one way to solve this is if the whole shipping industry can move to burning the natural gas into the diesel engines. And dual fuel 4-stroke engines from Wartsila have been there for 4-5 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And today there are about 100 ships, LNG carriers, which are installed with Wartsila engines.
They have the dual fuel technology.
Dual fuel engines already. But this particular market is restricted to LNG carriers today. Very soon we are going to also launch 2-stroke dual fuel engines.
Okay, they're using gas.
Using gas.
That's what MAN is also saying. So I think
is also having a
the two leaders are talking the same language now.
And they also have a 2-stroke gas injection engine, which is a technology, and then we will also have it available in the market. It's a matter of time, a few years, that once you have the capability of fueling the ships anywhere in the world, or at least in certain areas. But with these gas engines, you do not need those external means to actually meet the material requirements. So a lot of benefit will come into it.
So what you're saying is gas is the future. You're almost telling me that even on the maritime trade and this, gas is the future. That's what we are saying.
Yes, because you see now there will be a lot of, there used to be a time when there were only certain areas which were called special areas. So if you were there, then you had to do certain special things which you maybe not needed to. But now with these ECA areas, which are going to be, there are already some recognized ECA areas, and there will be some more which will be coming in. So whether you go to Baltic Sea, or you go to Mediterranean Sea, or you go to the North Sea, or when you're in the English Channel, or when you're on the coast of Australia, or you're on the coast of America, you have to follow all these norms. That means you have to have the flexibility of fuel. When you are in those areas, you will have to comply with those requirements.
Correct.
Once you're in open sea, in Atlantic or North Atlantic or Pacific or Indian Ocean, maybe you can go back to HFO. So you need to have this flexibility of maybe burning multi-fuel ships.
So therefore what you're saying is multi-fuel adaptability of the engines basically.
Yeah,
That will be the order of the day,
I would say this.
and that they can operate on flexible fuels. Right. So great. So any other technology improvement in terms of burning efficiency and I would say getting power out of the fuel, those areas were already moving forward. So how is there further improvement going to happen in those lines, or they have been optimized already?
No, I think there is never any end to any development. So that will always continuously happen. There will be new areas which will be developed. But from our perspective now, because we also have a company called Hamworthy in our portfolio for the last 2 years, which was acquired by Wartsila at the end of 2011. Already 2 years have passed, and Hamworthy is a company which specializes in oil in gas field.
Right.
And that enhances the portfolio. It's not just an engine we're talking about now. We are talking the
Gas
gas
adaptation.
handling systems, the transportation systems, the storage systems, the detection systems. Everything is in-house. So if we look at a ship per se now, we used to be in the engine room with the engine and the propeller, but now we are everywhere in the ship.
Right.
And which brings a lot of value to the end customer, because then we are able to get a lot of services.
Great. One last question to you, Sachin. In terms of asset enhancement and sustaining the assets and their capabilities, what do you mostly advise your customers as Wartsila?
Okay, I would say there are two aspects to it. One is, of course, how we can optimize the assets, and what does it mean is basically is that if they are able to gain certain amount of efficiency from their existing equipments, after some years from the same equipment, how they can gain same or maybe better output. That is something which we are focusing upon. Second is we look at the managing the risk factor. Let's say expect the unexpected, and how we help customer in managing those risks. That is something which is priority. I will explain that point. We have come out with different kinds of service agreements, and there what we basically do is that it's under the concept of marine life cycle support to our customers. Under that, we tell customers from the different perspective how we can support them in terms of the operation of the equipment and what sort of it's kind of a total consultancy to them of a different nature, which is customized. It need not be a.
It's basically tailor-made, what you say.
Tailor-made support to them, and that can be throughout the life cycle of the ship or the equipment. This is something which is catching up quite fast. There's been quite a good references in offshore segment already. We are now working upon how we can make it in merchant segment that particular references. So these are the things, and the point one which I mentioned about the optimizing the equipment. There, what we have worked upon is certain, I would say, engine-based service products, wherein we can look at how we reduce the fuel consumption, how we reduce basically the oil consumption, and the let's say in the propulsion side, how we increase the efficiency of the propulsion system, either by way of roller enhancement or in the speed increase of the ship. So thereby this is all customized versions. If someone comes to me that okay fine, Wartsila, I would like to go for this, we have the probability of looking into it and giving him that. So as long as this flexibility we provide to our customers, I think in every aspect of the business, whether they are not doing well or they are doing well, I think this solution should be well.
Lovely. And Sinhaji and Sachinji, thanks for your time, and I wish all the best to Wartsila.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you so much.